Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So I have a very exciting video planned for today. We are talking about planning your Disney vacation. If you're anything like me, it's very overwhelming. Very overwhelming. So my goal here today is to start off with the basics. These are the first things that you probably want to consider and plan before you get into all of the minutia of the plan, all of those tiny little details that are important, but the things we're going to talk about today are like foundation, fundamental things that you probably need to do first before you get into all of the other things. So before I get started, I'm obviously in a hotel room today. Long story short, we are doing a craft show tomorrow. Our plan was to drive up the morning of really early because it is not where we live. It's about 2 hours away, but we were gonna leave super early in the morning and just set up everything day of. Well, the lady who was running the event, the show, whatever, sent out a list of the rules for the vendors, and one of them was that you have to set up either Thursday or Friday before from 2 to 5 p.m. And I emailed her back responding that we don't live in the area, we're gonna have to drive. We both have full-time jobs. So setting up in the middle of the day on a Thursday or Friday, it's kind of weird. Anyway, she basically didn't give me a response. She just copy and pasted the rules and sent it back to me, which was really frustrating. As a person who's worked in customer service, like she could have at least taken the time to like actually respond, even if she didn't give me the answer that I wanted, but I'll get over it. Anyway, so I drove up. I worked like 5.5 hours this morning, packed my stuff, drove up here, set up the booth for the most part, and then I am staying in a hotel tonight, and Josh is staying at home, and then he's gonna drive up in the morning. So it's actually turning out to be a good thing because I get to be alone for an entire night without having to worry about the chores, the cleaning, the laundry, parenting, working, because leading up to this craft show, I had been staying up until like 11 p.m., midnight, and then getting back up and being at work at 6 a.m. the next day. So I'm feeling pretty good about this little break that I've got here. Anyway, we're gonna just move on. I am in a hotel room, but that's okay. We're gonna talk about Disney. If you guys don't know already, if you didn't see my previous Disney video, we are planning a trip to Disney World, to be specific, which is in Orlando, in September of this year, 2023. And we are just through the roof excited. For me, it hasn't really set in fully, and I haven't gotten into like full-blown planning mode yet. I've just a little bit. But I'm gonna go ahead and just start talking about some of the basic things you need to kind of figure out before you go. Number one, when are you gonna go? Are you gonna go in the summer? Are you gonna go in the fall? Are you wanting to do like the holidays? Are you wanting to go like 2 years from now? When are you going to go? There's obviously a lot more that goes into that than just, oh, pick a date. So some things you're gonna want to consider. Obviously, the crowds. Disney post-pandemic has been absolutely bonkers, bananas, crazy busy all of the time. And they have had staffing issues because of unfair wages, to be honest. So they've had some staffing issues. The parks have been incredibly busy, and there's not necessarily like any great time to go, but I would say the crowds will probably be the smallest like the week after a major holiday. So instead of booking your vacation for like Memorial Day, do it the week after. Or for us, Labor Day, we're doing it the week after Labor Day. The week after 4th of July. Those weeks right after major holidays are gonna be just a little bit less. Can't make any promises, but a little bit less. Also, the month of September seems to be a pretty good time to go. The weather is going to be starting to be a little bit more mild. People are transitioning into like the holidays, so September is a good time. January, February, that kind of thing. You're also going to want to consider the weather, right? So Orlando, Florida, it's hot. It's hot. So peak hotness is June, July, August. I would not recommend going during those times. And if you have no other choice, just plan accordingly. Drink lots of water, take breaks, dress accordingly, plan for those breaks. I'm not going to get into too much detail there, but just plan for the weather. So for us, we're going in September. It's hurricane season, so it will probably rain a little bit more than it would like if we went in June. But that's okay. I'd rather be, with the way the Florida rain works, it rains for a little while and then it's like bright, sunshiny, beautiful day. So we're fine with that. And there's plenty of things to do inside if it's raining. I know we are both full-time working parents, so I know that there's a lot more to consider when you're able to get like paid time off, vacation time, or if you're just gonna have to take a week off unpaid. There's also your children to think about if they're in the public school system, being able to take them, obviously. So that is something to consider. But that's really the number one thing you need to think about, is when you are going to go. The next thing you want to think about is, where are you going to stay when you get there, right? So obviously if you're going to Disney World and you're traveling from out of state, for example, you're probably going to want a hotel, right? So are you going to stay on property or off property? That's kind of like the biggest dilemma as far as where are you going to stay. I 100% recommend staying on property. There are so many perks to staying on property, and there's a wide range of price differences. So they have their value resorts, which are fairly inexpensive, they're moderate, deluxe, etc. There is a resort to fit pretty much every budget. So I would personally recommend staying on resort. There are a lot of perks, again, to staying on resort. And I personally like to stay in the Disney Magic Bubble. I don't like to leave the Magic Bubble. So staying on resort helps to do that. If you guys want a more in-depth video just on just like pros and cons of on property versus off property, different Disney resorts, I can definitely do that. I love to talk about it, so let me know. And the next thing I have is, how are you gonna get there? Are you gonna drive? You're gonna fly? Those are kind of the main options there. We live in Missouri and we have elected to drive. And there's a lot of different reasons. It's a very personal choice, but for us, the pros outweigh the cons of driving. So since we're driving, we're gonna have to plan time to drive. It's about a 17-hour drive from where we live. We're gonna obviously have to stay in a hotel one night on the way there and on the way back. So that is something that we need to plan for, we need to budget for, and it's just something that we're going to have to plan out a little bit more specifically as it gets a little bit closer. Next, you want to decide how many days and nights you are going to be staying. If possible, I would recommend trying to stay a little bit longer. Once you hit that 4-day park ticket, each additional day after that does not cost you that much more. So if you're only able to go 3 days, that's okay. It's still going to Disney World, right? You're still winning. However, if you can stretch it out into 6 days or 7 days, if you're super lucky, I would recommend trying to stretch it out. That way, you're not going to be as stressed planning. You're not going to be as stressed at the parks. And you'll obviously be able to get to do more things. And you're going to be able to, I feel like, enjoy it more. So again, these are all things that are totally up to you, but you do want to think about those things. After you have decided those first few things, you can book your vacation. We booked our vacation for September. Again, we're staying in the Art of Animation Resort on property, which I'm so excited about. And we paid for, it's basically like a package. You can do the hotel and the park tickets all together. We did add a couple additional things, which I'm not going to talk about today. But once you figure those first few things out, book it. You can book it. And they just require a $200 deposit on your vacation, which is refundable if you change your mind, something happens, and then your entire trip just has to be paid off, I believe, 30 days before your vacation. So you got plenty of time to think about it. Next, the fun begins. I mean, it's all fun. I think it's all fun. The fun begins. You're gonna probably want to plan which parks you are going to on which days. We are going to Magic Kingdom first because we are bringing a 3.5-year-old who has never been to Disney World, and we felt like Magic Kingdom would be the best park to go to first, and then we'll probably go to Epcot because I've been really hyping up Spaceship Earth a lot. And he keeps asking me every day if we're gonna go visit the big ball, and unfortunately I have to tell him it's a few months away. But definitely think about everyone's different. Everyone has different parks that they like the most. Everyone has a different idea of what their vacation is going to be, like the perfect vacation for them. So for us, we want to go to Magic Kingdom first, then Epcot, maybe, Josh is going to be so excited about Hollywood Studios. We'll probably do Hollywood Studios next. Animal Kingdom probably for part of a day, so on and so forth. But the reason why you want to think about this soon is because they still have park reservations, meaning that you will not only have to purchase your tickets, you will have to book a park reservation each day. So it's a good idea to get thinking about that sooner rather than later. And moving on to my next point, another thing you're going to want to consider, and it kind of ties in together, is dining. So as of today, Disney does not currently have their dining plan. They did recently announce that it will be coming back January 9th of next year, 2024. It'll be different than the one we knew before. But as of right now, if you're going this year, there is no dining plan. But you're gonna still be able to make reservations, of course, and that is something you want to, again, consider. So if you have a restaurant that you just have your heart set on, you've heard all of these amazing things about this specific restaurant in this specific park, that will probably play a part into which park reservation you get for which day. Just think about it. Food is very important. I think that we are going to do a mixture of like table service, quick service, snacks. We're gonna do a mixture of those, but we'll definitely be thinking about dining reservations well in advance so that we can go to the parks we want to go to and also eat the things that we want to eat. Okay? Those are the 6 things that I have on my list for today. But if you're overwhelmed at all, I just want to say, find a travel agent. Please, they are free. We're using one. She's a friend of ours. It is completely free to use their services. They will book it for you. They will book the trip, book the tickets. They will do it for you. And again, it's free. So utilize that resource. If you're not sure, Google it, go to Disney Food Blog. There are so many different companies that do Disney vacation packages and that kind of thing. So if you're overwhelmed at all, find a travel agent and they will help you out. They'll be able to tell you specific times that are probably best, specific times that are probably not the best, different resort options, all of the things. Reach out to a travel agent. Also, I do want to kind of mention something else. Try to plan, if you're anything like us, try to plan, I would say, depending on your party size, at least $1,000 for food, like minimum. Our goal is to have well over that amount just to spend on food. Food is very expensive. If you're eating even just like 2 meals in the parks every day, it's gonna be expensive. And as I said, right now they don't currently have a dining plan. So please plan ahead. Try to set aside any extra that you can. Again, Disney is so expensive, and they also have a lot of options to spend extra money on, like Genie Plus, Lightning Lane, all of those things. So again, I can't say it enough. Just try your best to plan ahead and save up as much as you can before your trip. That way you're not stressing out as much when you get there, okay? If you guys have any requests for Disney related videos, Disney content, if you want something a little bit more specific than this video, just comment down below, let me know. Give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!